Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 21st installment of Yid Talks. Thank you for listening tonight. The title of tonight's talk is It's All About the Reps. Right? I gotta exercise. It's been a really long time. This talk, it's my first dedicated talk. Who is it dedicated to? Tim Duncan. That's right. The amazing power forward / center of the San Antonio Spurs from, I believe, 1999 to 2000 something. Amazing Hall of Famer basketball player. Now his number was number 21, and this is Yid Talk 21. So you get how you get the comparison here, but really that's not even why I wanted to give a homage to Tim Duncan. The reason is because I believe that this talk tonight, I believe that Tim Duncan, he's the epitome of what I would like to speak about tonight. Let's think for a second. When I'm sure we've all heard the expression before. Some, you might hear parents saying it to their children, that you don't know that you'll like it unless you try it. You don't know you'll like it unless you try it. Now, how do we know if we're good at something? That, I believe, takes a lot more effort and time. And I think that the way that we can understand what we're good at is by we're doing it over and over and over and over again. So that it basically becomes ingrained in our system. And it's only over a long period of time that we can actually see the difference in our abilities. And if we were to take, our ability from time 1 to time 2, or time 2 to time 3, time 3 to time 4, we're not going to notice any difference between our ability at that first step versus that second step. That really becoming truly good at something takes time. And I believe that in this world that we live in today, ain't nobody got time. This world is a whirlwind of activity, of information, of busyness. And I think that getting good at something is slowly becoming a lost art. Also, I believe, has a lot to do with our own self-confidence in ourselves and in our own abilities. So much of the time, I think our modern generation feels like we're falling short, that we're a failure. And I think a lot of this comes from our fast-paced life. Our fast-paced life of texting and looking up news and downloading the newest songs and just all the cool things that the young kids do these days. Why do I bring up Tim Duncan? Tim Duncan was a master, an absolute master of putting the reps in. He perfected the craft of his position in basketball. And it was boring. Anyone that's a sports fan or a basketball fan more specifically knows the Spurs of the Tim Duncan era were very boring. In fact, Tim Duncan was called the big fundamental. The big fundamental. Think about that. What kind of it's not such a flashy nickname to have, the big fundamental. But what did it represent? It represented exactly what made Tim Duncan so great. He stuck to the fundamentals. And although it may have been boring, and although it may have taken so much time to perfect those aspects of the game of basketball, it is exactly what made Tim Duncan the best that he could be. Now, what I'm proposing here tonight in our Yid Talks together, in this time together that we are spending, because I'm always trying to connect the ideas that I make with how we can be better people. And I just want to give us some motivation tonight to recognize that things do not come easy. Things take time to master. And this all comes from my own individual self and the things that I go through in my life. And I recognize, hey, guess what? I'm human. So whoever on the other side of that screen over there is human as well, I assume. I'm human. the people that are listening are human. And I firmly believe that we're all going through this together. So I feel like the things that I go through and I share can potentially, hopefully, help other people as well. So my message right now is it's all about the reps. It's all about the reps. It's not about finding the success between the reps. It's not about, posting our results on social media each and every time we do a rep. It's not about flexing our muscles after every rep. It's not about losing our self-esteem after each rep because hey, why aren't I growing faster? To go back to the flower analogy that I mentioned in an earlier Yid Talk, flower grows very slowly, imperceptible to the eye. And yet, over time, it buds into a beautiful flower. Same too with you, same too with me. Things take time. And in the end of it, God willing, we all have a lifetime to master whatever skills or whatever character traits that we wish to master. It's important for us to see the long view. Look at the beginning of Tim Duncan's career versus the end of Tim Duncan's career. The trajectory that he had between that first game and that last game. And of course, over time, basketball players might not be the best example because basketball players eventually, they start declining a bit. But in the world of wisdom, in the world of true craft, I believe there's always an upward trajectory. So here's my plea to all of us, including myself, to just keep fighting, keep pushing. If we fall, we get back up, we try again, we try harder next time, and not to look at the results after each and every time we're trying something. To look at that long view. Now, the second thing that I wanted to speak about tonight in relation to this topic is the beginning of that process. When we start something, the synthesis of something, the beginning of that journey. My first Yid Talk, I mentioned Rashi says, I think somewhere in Shemos, I believe, he says all beginnings are hard, all beginnings are difficult. That goes without saying. A lot of the time we see in our own lives, anytime we try to pick something up, it's hard at first. Something that Rabbi Noach Weinberg mentions, and he's quoted as saying, which I have included in my daily kind of memo to myself, is the following statement. People often avoid making decisions out of fear of making a mistake. Actually, the failure to make decisions is one of life's biggest mistakes. What a quote. What a quote. Because how many times can we say to ourselves, and I'm sure I'm not alone here, how many times have we thought about doing something in our lives that is amazing and really just fulfills every part of our internal desire to be great? And then we forget about it. Or, like Rabbi Weinberg is saying, we don't want to fail. Now, I don't know if this quote is Michael Jordan, because, stick with the basketball theme here, or Wayne Gretzky, who was a great hockey player. I think it sometimes is attributed to one or the other, but whoever gets the credit for this quote, it's a beautiful quote, and it goes along with what I'm saying here. And that is as follows. You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. It's a very wise statement. Because even if we think about a pretty bad shooter, let's take in basketball, for example, say 30% from the field or something like that, 20% from the field. It's better than 0% from the field. And that's what I would say to us tonight, is that anything that we know in our hearts and it's intuitive in our souls that is worth a try, but we're too scared to make that jump. We're too scared to fail. Remember this. we are too big to fail. Remember when like Ford or whatever was too big to fail as a company? No. The truth is, we are too big to fail. And the way that we find confidence, the way that we find success in life is by trying. And I'm speaking to myself here, but I also want to speak to you. It's all about trying, and we need to get over that fear. We have to get over the fear of failure and go get it. Let's take some shots. Let's do some reps, and let's be the best that we can be. Thank you, guys.